Hi guys, this is Pat once again with NorCal Strength Studio. NorCal Strength Studio, we specialize in high intensity strength training. We're in Los Gatos, California. If you guys are interested, come on in for your introductory free workout. Today we have Brian Collins from the UK. Him and his brother, I think, partnered for Hitworks, right? And you guys just finally moved into your facility. I know you're busy moving your equipment. Thank you for doing this interview.
No worries. Thank you.
Welcome. So I know it's 9 o'clock over there, right? 9 p.m.
Just after, yeah.
Yeah. So
9 p.m.
Yeah. So thank you for doing the interview. It's so late, dude. Yeah.
No worries.
So can you tell us how you got started? Tell us more about who Brian Collins is. How you got started, and who were your idols and mentor that got you involved in HIIT?
Always, for being a kid, we used to get the World's Strongest Man TV shows. But I'm 40 now, so when I started watching those, I was 4, 5-year-old. So early 80s, I remember John Paul Sigmason.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Bill Kazmaier. And Jeff Case was quite a big deal over here to kids' TV shows and things like that. So I always had an interest in being strong. At the time as well, He-Man was a big deal. The He-Man toys had come out.
You and my brother.
Yeah, always had an interest in that. I can remember a kid, funny enough, a cousin of mine who the Rocky films were becoming popular. Just before Arnie became a really big deal. And I remember I had a He-Man figure, and I was saying to a cousin of mine, that's what I want to look like when I grow up. I want to be like that. And my cousin, rightly or wrongly, told me, you'll never look like that. You'll never be able, no one could ever look like that. Early lesson in genetics there, I think. But so yeah, it came from there. The Rocky 4, the Rocky films, Sylvester Stallone was a big deal. And then, like I say, Arnie came on the scene. And around about 8, 9, we got a copy of Pumping Iron book.
Mm-hmm.
I used to flick through that, read that. My brother Peter and my cousin, they got some of the home weight sets between them. My brother's 4 years older than me, so I wasn't allowed to touch them. Too young. But I used to, when he was out or when there was no one around, I used to sneak in and do all stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
And then my brother started training at a local gym. When I got into what we call comprehensive school, senior school, there was a school gym. Used to try bits and things around there. And at 12-year-old, I got a paper round, delivering papers. So I had £3.75 a week it was, and they used to cost £1 a go at this local gym. So at 12-year-old, I used to walk the 3.5, 4 miles, go to the gym. By the time I'd read a lot of, I'd seen, maybe it's not the word, a lot of bodybuilding magazines. Flex was a big deal. The occasional Iron Man, that kind of thing. I remember going to the gym for the first time. Went with a friend. A big square room, proper spit and sawdust type of gym.
Mm-hmm.
Never got cleaned. There was, dripping leaky taps in the very small, rotten bathroom, and no lockers or anything like that. Worn carpets, and a lot of very intimidating guys in there, centered around the bench press, around the cable machines and the dumbbells, and the different chest and arm machines, and the preacher bench was always popular.
Right.
And then on the left-hand side was all the leg equipment, all the leg machines. So they were all over there, so I gravitated over towards the leg machines to stay out of the way, basically, because shy, intimidated. I remember that first night. It was a Friday night, early evening. First time I ever went in. I remember trying a horrible hack squat machine. There was a leg extension there. There was a squat rack, but that was over the other side. People were curling in the squat rack.
Mm-hmm.
Which I look back and laugh. So it started from there. My brother had a quite, well, for me, obviously it was a typical kind of relationship. He was 4 years older. I was the annoying little brother. We used to fight. Well, he used to beat me up a lot. But then, maybe it was around 13, 14, Mike Ment's articles started to get mentioned a bit more. And a guy called Stu McRobert.
Robert?
It was Brawn Hard Gainer.
I saw that in one of our conversation through Messenger. I'm not familiar with who he is.
Oh, Stu McRobert's big influence.
Is he from the UK?
He is. He lives in Cyprus. Has done for many years, and he used to publish a bi-monthly magazine called Hard Gainer, which is brilliant. If you can get copies, I think you can go on Cyberpunk. You can get copies online. He's got his own website. Definitely worth looking up. But I remember a copy of the book Broad being brought into the house by Peter, my brother, and that was different. And by the time he started going to another gym, excuse me, and he got sick of me asking him questions, talking to him about it. So he did me a workout. Well, at the time I was only allowed to go to the gym once a week, and he did me a full body routine. I remember it. Started off with the big exercises, going down to small exercises.
So it was like a Nautilus protocol,
Not far off.
Yeah.
Pre Nautilus, kind of like it was 20 rep squats.
Oh, God.
It was the first exercise. Barbell squat. There was pull down, or chin up, dip or bench press, shoulder press, calf work, and some arm work at the end.
So mostly compound movements then, huh?
Yeah. One set, give or take.
Right.
Like most, at the time, before I discovered my hatred for arm training, I wanted big arms, and I'm an extra set or two of curls, thinking that would be the exercise to, really pack the muscle at the time. But got great results from it at a young age. In terms of, I used to play a lot of football, soccer. Obviously I was going through my teen years, and the usual growth and things taking place, but I just remember my speed on the pitch improving rapidly, power in the shots, that kind of thing, and and it was all because I had a structured routine, stuck to it, got stronger. Influence at the time, let's say, Stu McRobert, big one, hard gainer.
How old were you when you're playing soccer, when you were doing the once a week routine?
That was around about age 14.
14?
14 to 15. And I started reading some Mike Mentor things. I started to learn a little bit about recovery. So the soccer, the football, that had to stop. Stop playing, weaned off that. Just the odd kick around with friends, that kind of thing. And let's say, well, the Mike Mentor stuff started to come to the fore maybe over the next couple of years. Between that, I think maybe that's 16, 17. Got a copy of Heavy Duty.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, this was all obviously pre-internet days when you could get the information like that. You had to send away, or local bookshops didn't have these things yet. You know,
We had it bad, Brian. We had it bad back then.
kids today don't know the phone.
They don't know. They
so
have
easy.
no idea.
So yeah, to get these books was kind of a big deal.
Right.
The heavy duty book clicked, made a lot of sense. And then Dorian Yates. I mean, we'll get up to
The 90s.
sort of early 90s.
Early
you know,
80s, late 80s, early 90s, probably, right?
It was probably early 90s. Dorian, it was after he turned pro. He's never been mentioned in the bodybuilding magazines, and I think after he turned pro, he took a year or two off. And I remember he prepped for the Night of Champions, so that was what, 1990?
Yeah, we're about there.
So Dorian Yates obviously came to the fore, and Mike Mentor was mentioned a few times. Tom Platz, who I always loved his articles and things as well. So that kind of, to me, consolidated that was kind of one of the, you know, that this was the way to go. Abbreviated, intense work was the way to go.
Right.
And then we started, we were able to, well, between Pete and myself, we started getting Hard Gainer magazine, which I discussed earlier. And in there, that was brilliant. We learned more about, there's a lot of Arthur Jones articles in there. A lot of people referenced Arthur Jones. You know, I know a lot of people like to talk about the differences between Mentor and Jones. I think Mentor just refined Jones preached personally very well. I'm not criticising Mentor, but it all originated with Arthur Jones for me. And then I was introduced to guys. The biggest ones, I mean, Stuart McRoberts, his books are excellent. I recommend them to everyone. He's got an excellent technique book out there, which is a great starting point. Then there was Dr. Ken Reisner, big one.
Amazing guy.
The Steel Tip book, the Steel Tip articles. It's, you know, I don't know if you do the same. Sometimes you'll try to branch out. You'll read other stuff. You look online. Then, pardon the French, you get sick of reading the bullshit. And that's kind of like the go-to book to kind of cleanse from that crap, as it were, at times. But Dr. Ken's stuff's great. Still really goes. Bob Whelan. I don't know if you know Bob. He does a podcast.
I saw part of his podcast. I don't know him too well, but I've seen his name pop up a few times.
Bob's great, no nonsense, really type training. And Dr. Ken was associated with a powerlifting gym called the Pit Gym. And there's a guy there, ex-cop, who trained powerlifters, called Dick Connor. And in Hard Gainer, it's a drug-free bodybuilding magazine, or a drug-free physical culture magazine, whichever way you want to put it. And there's pictures in there of drug-free guys who were very impressive, very strong, very robust. Dick Connor would show some of the top guys in the gym who he trained, and some who he didn't train as well. And Dick Connor he was training people twice a week. He was training powerlifters with slow protocols, controlled rep protocols, very limited, abbreviated amounts on the power lift.
Right. Very
conscientious of joint health, joint safety, long-term longevity, rather than just results. You know. So those three guys from the Hard Gainer were a really big deal for both of us, for me and my brother. And that's pretty much. We'll refine things over here. We'll change a few things here and there, but that's kind of where we got up to and what really set us on the path that we've followed ever since.
So we'll talk shop in a little while. Now in the UK, so you found Mentor Arthur Jones. Now what about locally in the UK other than Stuart Roberts?
Jim McRoberts.
Yeah, because Edward Harrison was the one that mentioned your name. Said, "Hey, you need to contact Brian and Peter Collins. They're doing some good good work in their gym, Hitworks. By the way, your old gym, I love that brick wall.
The garage.
Yeah,
Garage.
yeah. Every time I look at that brick wall, I thought, man, it seems like Vikings and gladiators trained there. It had that rugged, masculine feel to it.
Thank you. That's I'll take that compliment. In the UK, I mean, Ed's great. I had the honour. Excuse me. Sorry, I just had tea before we started talking. I had the honour of going down. Ed lives other end of the country. I appreciate the UK is not like America, where but it's a 6-7 hour drive away.
Right.
Which we went down and stayed over. We were there for a couple of nights and trained at Vital Exercise. Great little facility. Ed's just moved.
Right.
Excited to see the finished result of that. Ed was great. Great stories. Don't know if you mentioned it, but he trained with Vince Garanda.
Yep, he did.
Little joke. But no, it was great. And I'll be honest, Ed was an influence and a stimulus for us sort of taking it up to the next level because before I started work, I was at university. I did a sports science exercise physiology degree, and I left that, and this was 1999 I graduated, and I just thought I don't want to work in the health and fitness industry. It was awful, horrendous. Wanted to step away from it. Applied and started working in the public sector. But kept training always, kept training up. And it's like you talk to people and it's like, oh, what are you doing in your spare time, whatever. Or a few people at work noticed I was relatively strong, so you get talking, so people showing interest. I always read, always try to keep my knowledge up to date and always try to learn. So I would train. I always trained other people, small groups, like little pockets of people who would get them to join the gym and train where I trained, that kind of thing. Over the years, certainly before, I think in the 80s, there used to be Nautilus gyms around and things like that, and you used to see the odd sign up here and there. The northeast of England's not very much a working class area. It's not as affluent as other parts of the country, so that kind of thing wasn't really around. The gyms were standard gyms. You had your spit and sawdust gyms, and then obviously you started to see the beginning and the rise of the cheap chain type gyms starting to come up. The fitness and health clubs rather than gyms. There was no, and there still isn't, any kind of real high intensity training facilities around. There's a few pockets of Nautilus geeks here and there, which we've only come to discover through social media, certainly in the last 5 or so years. But at that time, nothing. So when I started working, my brother does the same day job, and he moved into his house. There was a garage. Hard Game magazine always promoted what stepping away from the health club or the drug induced, we'll say, type of gyms, and promoted how you could make a home gym. So it kind of became a bit of a pipe dream. So when my brother moved into his house, I remember walking into his garage and saying, "Great size for a gym." Took me a while, but we came around with the idea. A little bit of persuasion. Though he denies that now. And between us, we bought a power rack, barbell plates, trap bar. The trap bar was a really big deal. It was very, again, early 90s, they weren't that common. Late 90s, early 2000s, they weren't that common. As someone who loves the deadlift, it was always an exercise that I enjoyed doing, deadlift and squats. Desperate to try that out. And we bought, there was a company called Southern Exercise, and they did the True Squat.
Sounds
the
familiar.
True Line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was parallelogram leverage, plate loaded equipment. Again, we'd seen things through Hard Gainer magazine, and we'd sent away for a video cassette and booklet about the equipment. Wasn't available over in the UK, so we saved a bit of money up between us, and we got one shipped over. So we had that in the gym, and we got I think the next piece we got after that was a hammer strength plate loaded pullover machine, which
Good
we
machine.
still got.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it kind of grew from there. I wanted to train people, etc., and we had a few training here and there. My brother's got a training partner, a guy who's been training with for over 20 something years. He started coming, and the amount of equipment grew. More hammer equipment, some Nautilus equipment, etc. And then we both started training people. Had a number of people in his garage gym. My personal circumstances changed, and he kind of did more of the training thing, and I stepped away from it for a little while, for a couple of years. I was separated from my then wife, all that kind of thing, and when still training, etc. And then a few years ago, I got it in my head that I wanted to do something stupid. I did. I don't know if I think you have them in America. The Tough Mudder type runs, assault courses. That came about because I was talking exercise with a guy at work who's a distance runner, and he made the comment, "Well, you'd never be able to do it with your type of training." And I was like,
Wow.
"No, I really would be able to." I said, "My type of training would have more benefit to that type of activity than you going out doing miles and miles and hours of road runs every week." And he tried to talk to me about cardiovascular fitness and got shut down, sort of thing about it. So I thought, right, challenge accepted. So I had a group of people who, looks like fun. Let's do that.
Now, are we getting into the actual workout you did for that Tough Mudder race?
My training never changed.
Okay, break it down for me. Break it down for me, because that's interesting.
Up to this point, from I'd say
Tough Mudder
training commercial gyms, there was always the hanging around element of waiting for if someone was on this machine or that machine. So
wait, okay, real quick, Tough Mudder. What was the event? What was there's running, there's swimming.
Oh, sorry, it's a 12.5 mile assault course. So you've got to runs stagger from event to event. There's climbing, crawling, swimming, jumping off things, sliding down things, running through electric wires, all that kind of thing.
Right.
There's a 2 mile mud run where you're sort of knee deep in mud and you've got to troll through that. There's an event where they've got these logs and you've got to carry them around like part of this lake it was.
Okay, I got
that
it.
kind of. So for that, my own personal training was I continued. I did my two full body workouts by this time for many years. One set to failure. I always totally advocate no rest or as little rest as possible in between exercises. Get everything set up, get in, bang, bang, bang,
right.
Done. And then towards the event, I had a group of people who, how many was there? I think it was 6 of us, 7 of us. So I started doing little outdoor group sessions to practice, like monkey bars and things like that.
Yeah, that's maybe come up, kind of copy the skill set a little. Just okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a total shock
right
when it came to it, and I kind of that's what got me back into training people. To be fair, to a large extent, I thought, people do want to hear this, and going online, talking about stuff like this on the HIT forums or the the abbreviated training forums, things like that. Got a lot of stick from the hit crowd, I would say. That's not exercise, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's enjoyment. I've done it for a laugh, it's, and I knew there was things like the log carry, so we didn't have logs, but we had a beer barrel. So I put some water in that and just got everybody to practice walking with that. And, social media, people putting photos on. There was some of the old school Nautilus zealots wanted to burn me at the stake. That's not exercise. Arthur Jones will be turning these grave, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's skill work. I know the difference between the exercise. I know the difference between,
now,
exercise and skill work.
So you did your twice a week of your regular workout that you haven't changed, right? But the skill work, how many days a week did you do the skill work?
Me personally, no more than once a week.
And of course, the skill work is basically skill. You're not training it. You're not carrying the log to failure, right? You're just getting, okay, all right, good. All right.
Yeah. A couple of runs up and down. We used to do it at a recreational area. A few runs up and down the hill, carrying the barrel, giving each other piggybacks. It was a bit of fun. Getting used to running on grass and through mud where possible.
Right.
In the northeast, our climate isn't great. Very cold at times. A lot of rain. So getting used to that. And a couple of the group were couch potatoes when they started. And I think within 6-7 months, they were ready, and they did took mother, and they completed it very well.
So was it the event was like 8 months when you agreed on it, or was it like a year? You guys had a year to train for it. How long was the training?
8 months maximum.
Okay.
It wasn't a year.
Right.
It wasn't a full year.
But there was no cardio workout involved, right? Just basically the skill, nothing. So what was the outcome of? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. I deliberately banned because there was a lot of people like, oh, I need to run. There's a running track. Why don't we go on the running track? Because it has no bearing on what we are going to do.
Right.
Very hard thing. There was a lot of doubts there, and fair enough. Why, don't just take people's word for it. But yeah, I had a couple of standing arguments with people. Like, no, right, if you come to me for help, you accept my help. You want to go and do it alone, that's fine. I'm not going to be responsible for you going to do it alone, etc. So no cardio work, or so-called cardio work, at all. And a couple of them started training. Managed to get them interested in training in the gym. Which they're still doing. Three of them are still training in the gym. Three ladies, very strong. Done them well. I mean, this is 4 years ago. I've done another 2 tough mudders since, and again with no cardio work. So, no long duration, low intensity running, any of that crap.
So what was the outcome of your first Tough Mudder and all the guys you trained that was training with you? What was the outcome?
It's not a race. I think we did it. It was something like a 3-hour event.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe hours. We could have done it a lot sooner, but we were. There was 2 of the events towards the end. One's where you run up this. It's called Everest, and you run up a slippery bank, kind of a false, like a quarter pipe kind of thing, which goes about 12 foot up, and people hang over the side and catch the people coming up and help up. I mean, we stayed on there for a long time. We were helping them move. We stayed in a couple of events, and a couple of events we did more than once because it was fun. The outcome was that we had a number of people. No one got injured. Everyone completed it and kept the training up afterwards, basically.
Now that guy that was banging on you told you won't be able to do it because your type of training is different. Did you guys talk after? Was he surprised? What was his reaction?
We've had discussions since. He was like, "Oh, well, what was it? Something along the lines of, well, you must be fit anyway." But I say, I mean, we had one self-confessed couch potato, someone who'd never exercised for years, one of the ladies in the group, and she was very much, "I'll never be able to do it. I'll never be able to do it." It's like, no, of course you'll be able to do it. Of course you can. And lo and behold, she did, and she's still training now, and she's doing great and loves it. And
that's good. I mean, yeah. My brother and I just did an experiment where we did that run, did the workout.
I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, the exercise and my conditioning got so much better. I mean, I know from the camera it seems like I'm just going really fast, but for time's sake, we had to speed it up. The only thing I noticed was my head was all over the place, only because if you're going through that, I'm so fatigued that here I am. I was trying my best to get it going, but my time was, we cut like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I truly believe it could have been better if we kept the exercise within 20 minutes the whole time. I think my time would have been better. But no, there is something to be said about working without resting. I mean, if your body can do it, yeah. I mean, you've proved it. I'm gonna do another experiment. My buddy's gonna do it. He's gonna do a mile run as fast as he can. He's gonna do his workout and see how that translates in terms of conditioning. So no, that's something to be said. That's awesome. That's great.
I think it's a really big deal. The rush factor is, well, as Arthur Jones called it,
Papa time.
I think it's a really, really underrated aspect of the training. It's an underrated aspect of the efficiency of the training, and it's an underrated aspect in terms of creating the demand within a workout. Slightly contrary to Mike Mensa, I personally believe I kind of side on the Arthur Jones camp, and I think the workout as a whole is more important than the individual components. Do I think it has to be one set, or people get head up a lot about is it failure? Do you go beyond failure? Do you use intensity and techniques? What is it? The big thing, CNS burnout. Oh God, I'm scared I'll suffer from CNS burnout. How do you know? What tests have you had done? I'm suffering from CNS burnout, and I need to take a week off. I need to take 2 weeks off. No, you don't. No, you haven't. No, you don't. It's. I just think people get a bit mixed up by it, and I always stood by. And again, this comes from the Dr. Ken side of things. Reading his articles, look for ways to make the workout harder. If you make it harder, you'll reap those rewards when it comes to, if you want to test, if you're a power lifter, if you're a mud runner, or if you're doing the experiment like what you're doing, look for ways to make it, if you're at that gym 20, 30 minutes, or however long it may be, well, if you're getting beyond 30 minutes, I would personally say look for ways to shorten that.
Right.
But make it harder and shortening or taking as little time in between exercises as possible. Generally, it makes that workout harder. And you have people saying, "Oh well, what if my cardiovascular system gives out first?" So, well, you've reached failure. That's failure. It's not just about momentary muscular failure. If it comes to say your last exercise is a set of curls and you're so winded, and you've got to drop the weight and it's killing you to finish that work. That's maximum effort.
Right.
That's true maximum effort. So it's not just a bit of a burn sensation in whichever muscle you happen to be training at that time. I think it's a really underrated factor, and not just in terms of cardiovascular fitness and health, but in terms of hypertrophy and in terms of strength gains. You train and get stronger under those conditions. You're getting stronger. You then go and decide, I'm going to have a period of 1 minute rest intervals or whatever. You're going to be quickly jumping up the weight because you're not as winded.
Yeah.
you're demonstrating more. Of course you are.
Right.
And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, training with Ed's got us to do a kind of Garanda influenced
6x6
workout. It was something like that with 20, 30 second. It was cumulative fatigue. It was a high rep set.
Really?
Very. Essentially, it was the same as, because I have done 50 rep sets, 30 to 50 rep sets, high rep sets, to failure. That's fun. And
I wouldn't know.
It's a very sort of staggered way of getting the same outcome. It's what's your motivation on the day, and now what can you do on the day. It's about what you can do at that moment in time. Work as hard as you can at that moment in time. Now, if on that day you walk in and the thought of doing 20 rep squats or the pre-exhaust to failure isn't quite working, don't just think, well, I shouldn't work out today. If you want to break it down a little bit and do what you can at that time, and in terms of skill acquisition as well, I think it's important. Go in and do that workout, and don't worry about it too much. I think HIIT training, there's a bit of over-analysis paralysis. Everything has to be perfect. It has to be pigeonholed. It's very narrow margins.
Right. Now, let's talk shop now. How'd you guys come up with Hitworks? That's a great name.
We were struggling. I think we argued about that more than anything else.
Right.
We didn't know what to call it. The HIIT acronym, for me, it's there's pros and cons to it. There's a lot of people that say very, very, very narrow-minded, and that's a very narrow view, and that's fine. But there's some things where it's like, well, that's not HIIT, this is HIIT, and all the rest of it. For me, it's about abbreviated hard training. And I remember a Bob Whelan article where he wanted to disassociate from the HIIT acronym. And at the time, I was like, no, Bob, you can't do that. You're one of the main influences, But after a few years online, I kind of saw where he was coming from. So we ummed and ahed about having high intensity training, or the HIIT acronym in there. And the unit we found, we had a few other ideas, but the unit we found was called Gasworks. And one of our friends, said, well, why don't we just call it Hitworks? And we thought, do we want HIT in the title? But it was catchy, I liked it, and it says exactly what we do.
Yeah.
So we decided on that, and it's grown on us, and I'm really happy with it.
Now, how many sessions do you guys have a week now? Are you guys going through?
Well, we've only been in the unit 2 weeks, because before my brother had the garage thing going, and I was doing little bits there. So going full circle, I also had a little setup in my front room of my house.
Mm-hmm.
Again, had a power rack, some dumbbells, and a few other bits and bobs, and I had a group, again from a later group of the last people I did a tough mudder with. Again, I got them into wanting to lift weights, strength train. So Pete, having the bigger setup, had more clients, but in total, I think we've got about 40 people on the books at the moment.
That's actually pretty good. Not bad.
But, yeah, I mean, it's not a full-time job either.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to maybe go up to, I think 60 would be the limit at the moment. Mm. And that includes one-on-one. We do small groups as well.
Now, how do you guys do the small group? I'm curious. Just
we do a small group. Will be a maximum of 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very abbreviated workout in terms of. I mean, we're still formalising it a little bit, but essentially we do a leg movement, a leg press, squat, deadlift, for example. there'll be an upper body push and an upper body pull. So, for example, a lot of the women who come into the gym,
they love that.
Yeah, they all want to learn how to do chin-ups and dips, the body weight exercises. I mean, there's a few of them when you tell them that not only will they be able to do it with their body weight, they'll be adding extra weight onto their body weight. They look at you with sort of wide-eyed, like, is that possible? Can women do that kind of thing? Takes a little bit of persuading. But that's essentially, that's the basic.
Now, do you run them through it a few times or just one set to failure?
Yep. We'll do, because it's a small group, and again, I know warm-ups are a bit of a contentious issue for some. We'll get them to do a very low-level warm-up kind of thing, where they'll just do a run-through, so to make sure that we've got the settings for everybody on the different equipment. And then we'll start with the person who's doing the least amount of weight, least amount of resistance first, because a lot of our equipment's plate loaded, it's not stack loaded, so there's, the lifting on and off kind of thing. Right. So say it's leg press. We've got a hammer strength leg press at the moment. So we'll take the first one through, set the failure, maybe a forced, or a negative or two at the end, and then take a little bit of weight off, do a drop set, push it to failure again. Depending on how they're working, we may do another little drop set. But if not, say, right, come out, and that person will be set to do very slow, very controlled bottom end squat, freestanding squats. So no resistance, just the body weight, but it'll be just the bottom half of the squat with a pause at the bottom, for example. So they don't need, got a nice cushion floor there. They don't need necessarily supervision on that. So they'll be set off to do that, and the next one will come in and do their set of leg press. The same thing will apply. So the three will do the leg press and the squat combination. Maybe some kind of freestanding lunge or some calf work. Whichever exercise is most appropriate to the person, and then we'll move on to the first upper body exercise.
Excuse me.
Same kind of thing. So if it was dips, for example, do a set of dips to failure. Again, a drop set, a negative or two, depending on how they're working that day. Then when they're done that, it's like, right, go and do some press-ups. So we'll do some press-ups nearby, straight onward. Next person will be in. So we'll pick I'll use the term minor exercises for in between while they're getting supervised. Gotcha. Stuff that doesn't really need supervision, stuff that isn't necessarily about progression, but movements, exercises that'll keep the heart rate up and it'll keep the work, the effort level high, as it were. Am I saying it's the most efficient way to train? No. Is it the most intense way to train? No. But these people are working hard, they're working progressively, they're working safely, and some people thrive on that kind of small, sort of community feel. I think, don't get us wrong, I'm not advocating CrossFit by any stretch, but one thing they do well is they create that sense of community. Mm-hmm. They create that sense, within the gym. And I'm not saying it should be, people, don't get us wrong, people are not chatting and it's not a social club, but there's that element. And for some people, it brings a competitive streak out. Yeah. Me personally, I don't want that. When myself and my brother Pete train, it's usually me who trains first. I'll set my workout up first, and I just want to switch off, no distractions, and I just want to go through my workout. And then once I've recovered, set up for Pete, and then Pete will train. But not everybody wants that, and I know there's a lot of purists out there who are. No, it's got to be the one-on-one. It has to be one-on-one. Not everybody's personality likes that, and this attitude of this purist attitude of if they don't like that, they're not training here. That's fine. I'm not judging anyone for having that attitude. Each to their own. But we want people to come in, and we want people to have training as part of their lives and to see the benefits of it. And if they like that more sociable, less intense focus from a trainer type of training, why not?
Now, your group training, how long does that usually last? About
including warm-ups, no more than half an hour.
Wow, that's actually really good. Now, what about you more advanced clients? Do you just the one that actually wants that gritty workout? That give it to me. Do you push them to failure?
Everyone gets pushed to failure every time.
Right. What about now? When you're first bringing in a client who's never done the workout, do you push them to failure right away, or do you right away?
If they're capable, it depends on the movement, but unless something happens where their body starts to contort or something's broken down, so technical failure, beginners, over the years, I can't think of many who've really been able to push to absolute focused, concentrated failure on every exercise. There's been the odd one who's done it on the odd exercise here and there, had a natural aptitude. But as long as it's safe and they're working, and you know what, if they get a positive failure and they've got a bit more in the tank, we're going to help them lift that up, and they're going to lower that weight slowly, and they're going to fight. And have they got a bit more? Yeah, we'll do another one, regardless of how long we've been training. Like I say, I touched on it earlier, things like CNS burnout or being too advanced or whatever. Personally, I've never seen that. People naturally, you train people a couple of times a week, 2 times a week. So the odd one gets 3 workouts in here and there. Some are only once, depending on the schedule. The busy people, we want to give them maximum bang for the buck in that 20, 30 minutes of work. So people will only be trained as hard as they'll allow you to train them. And so that's what we try to do. And some days they might need an extra breather, they might need an extra 20, 30, 60 seconds to get the breath back lying on the floor.
Right.
But I'll be standing there trying to coax them, trying to push them onto the next exercise. Some personalities that doesn't work, so you step back and you do it gradually over time. But yeah, go to failure every set where possible.
Now, what about for older clients that? Because I notice some older clients, I really have to be careful. But I do try to get them to failure off the back. But like you said, once I see their body start contorting, I stop it right there. You're done.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Not all failures created equal, I think.
Right.
Yeah, we've got a few. My brother Pete, he's got a guy who comes. His effort is second to none. He's in his 60s, and he's been a keen sportsman throughout his life. Football, soccer, tennis, cricket, rugby, squash. You name it. I'm sure he was a PE, a physical education teacher for many years too. So as a consequence, skiing. I think he's done a lot of skiing as well. So as a consequence, he's got all the injuries that go with every sport. He's had operations on his Achilles tendons, his knees, shoulder, etc. So he's never going to be a barbell squatter. He's got to be very careful with what we do with him. So it's just about finding what exercises he can do, what exercises he can potentially do, and what exercises are a definite no-no. Once that's established, he's worked as hard as he can be worked, and that again, if there's a postural deviation or because of his injury history and his history of tendon reattachments and things like that over the years, if there's an issue there and the posture starts to go as a result of that, either the exercise is altered, stopped, or we stop a technical failure. We've to the individual. I mean, I've got a lady who trains. She hasn't had a clear diagnosis, but she was initially diagnosed with arthritis in hips and knees. Our health service isn't great for picking up musculoskeletal issues. I don't think the diagnosis was quite correct. She's been back, and then she was diagnosed with bursitis in the hips. Range of motion was suffering, ability to walk was suffering, starting to get bad backs as a result due to the postural deviations, etc. She wasn't able to go for her walks around the nearby lake, etc. So with her, we slowed it right down, tried slow protocols, and then just progressively got stronger and stronger. After 4 months, complaints of the pain in the hips gone. Able to walk a lot easier, for longer, more frequently. So it's great. So it's just, I know there's a lot of arguments over rep speed and all the rest of it.
Hey Brian, how big are you? How big are you? You're a pretty big guy. I see you're posing up. You're a pretty burly guy. How tall are you and heavy?
Thank you. I'm 5'10". I'm currently 16 stone. That's 220.
220? Yeah, big guy.
222. The soft 220, 225. At my heaviest, I think I got up to about 240.
Right.
245. Again, soft. I mean, you could see my abs, but there was a bit of a muff. There was definitely a muffin top there.
Now that you're 40, have you noticed your strength drop, or is it still progressing up from when you first started?
The changes of my training from when I was younger, I mean, and purely because of the equipment that was available, are very much barbell squats, deadlifts were the mainstay, dips, parallel bar dips, were sort of the mainstays of my workouts. So, but I was doing different rep ranges then. Maybe in my young years, I mean, I was 18 when I first started squatting and deadlifting, like over 400 pounds for rep. The form probably wasn't what I would advocate now, do myself now. As I've gotten older, I upped the reps. The high rep work became an issue. So I mean, deadlift, track bar deadlift. I think I did 575, 580.
That's good.
For 20 consecutive reps, deadlift. And that's making sure that the plates quietly touch the floor. So no, I hate deadlift videos now. The dropping thing, the slamming. The goal was to get up there. The goal was always 600 pounds for 20. But a couple of fights at work and a couple of car accidents caused a few issues here and there. So
you're still progressing in strength, which is good, right? I mean,
yeah. I feel stronger and healthier now. Could I demonstrate this at this moment in time? No. Will I be able to by the end of next year? That's the goal. Yes. So I'll be demonstrating heavier weights than I ever have.
Now you
pretty much on 3-4 of what I consider key exercises next year.
Now I noticed on Facebook you guys invited him to a Facebook page called Intense Exercise. Is that something you and your brother put together, or?
It was again, you go on social media. There was a lot of fights, arguments, petty arguments, and it's at the end of the day, let's agree to disagree. There's a lot of stuff that's not proven. There's a lot of stuff we're still guessing, educated guesses, absolutely. Don't get me wrong, I like to read the research, the scientific literature, and all
So
that.
do I, yeah.
But it's not telling us everything. It's throwing up as many questions, more questions, sorry, than it's actually giving answers at this moment in time. So, you know, and I think a lot gets missed in the written word, because I see guys who see the training to failure, and that's not failure. That's not hard training. It's you know, I don't want to knock anyone. You know, it's great that people are pushing abbreviated training and all the rest of it. I really do believe it's the most efficient and result-producing type of training out there, in terms of hypertrophy, strength, and overall health and well-being. So sorry, I set it up, and it was for all I'm a high-intensity trained guy. I still like to watch strongman. I still like strongman type events and
yeah.
Olympic lifting and things like that. So I post stuff on there as well. It's for anybody to put whatever they want on, and then
Cool.
It's not as active as it once was. Still put the odd one on here and there, but there's so many different groups now. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah. Now, you still do pre-exhaustion work, or you just pretty much a lot of compound movements to failure? Or you still do a lot of pre-exhaustion work and then...
Well, pre-exhaustion is not something I've really done that much of. I was always a post-exhauster for large parts. I'm friends on Facebook with Roger Schwab.
Mm-hmm.
Very eloquent guy, been there, seen it all, done it all. Great stories. Always gives a considered opinion, and has been very gracious over the years to answer my questions and ramblings over the years. And a few of his posts, you know, read about how he trained, because he trained Mike Mensa for in the build up to the 1980 Mr. Olympia, amongst others, and he was there when Casey was getting trained, and Ray Mensa, etc. He still pushes and believes in pre-exhaustion, and I've always thought it was a great principle, a great methodology. But I always, apart from like the odd exercise here and there, I was thought, you know, we don't have access to the pre-exhaustion kit that Nautilus produced or Medics, or we've got a few bits of each here and there. But over recent years, I decided to go back to a 10 to 12 exercise routine.
Yeah.
And that's my Sunday workout, and I'm doing pretty much classical pre-exhaustion to failure in that, and I love it. Feel great.
It's all compound, mostly compound movements then, huh?
Yeah. So I'll be reintroducing the trap bar deadlift again shortly, just with the move and everything. Stuff's been in that way storage, and it just hasn't been. But the trap bar deadlift is coming back in, which I am going to beat this year. We don't have a leg extension machine at the moment, so I'm just using it. I'll then go straight into a sissy squat. From that, I'll go into a leg press, and then there'll be some dumbbell flies. Because of the way the gym is set up, it's easy for me to then go straight into a bench press, which I started doing again. Dips has always been my main upper body pressing movement, but it's just more efficient for me to drop the dumbbells and go straight into the bench press. I do a negative chin, 30 to 45 seconds, and then I'll do a set of curls, and then I'll do a pull down. Got a Nautilus Nitro pull down. Lateral raises before an overhead press. You know, a pullover gets used in there before some of the upper back work as well, and I'll finish up with some calf work or some tricep work. Before a set of dips or press ups to finish off, depending on how I'm feeling, how the workout's going that day. All the failure, all minimum rest where possible. I say no rest, but it's actually, some days that no rest is not as quick as others. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get in and catch up. Sign of progress. Well, I believe it's a sign of progress when on your good days when you go in and you do that. It's great. I'm feeling better for it. Feeling strong. And I've never had an injury in the gym. Never had an injury from training. But the injuries that I've had from other sports and from the day job and from a couple of car crashes, they have took the toll a little bit. So I've kind of got to work around them, and that's helped. My other workout, I do set up barbell squats in failure. At the moment, that's technical failure because I got it in my head again. I wanted to compare myself to my younger self, see what I was capable of. So that's why I'm hopefully going to be strong. I was demonstrating greater strength at the end of this year. So I'm back barbell squatting. And we've got a pendulum squat from Rogers Athletic. Great for the kid.
Oh, good.
So I go straight. Yeah, I top load that to emphasise. You can top load and bottom load, or you can spread the load out. I don't know if you've seen or used one. I go straight into a set of that straight after the barbell squat, and then from that I go straight into a drop set of the barbell squat, where it's a bit more of an emphasis on the pause at the bottom, which is very painful. And then I'll do neck work, and then shrugs, followed immediately by a rope. So there's the kind of exhaustion there around the neck and the traps, etc. And then that workout I'll finish off with like some dips, some calf work. I do grip work and things like that as well. Just to keep the hands and everything healthy as well. Neck work, grip work, I think doesn't get emphasised enough by a lot of people. But that's essentially it.
No.
Workouts never last, including any setting up. And I'll use the term warm up. I just like to check everything's in the right place and do a couple of reps. Takes no more than 30 minutes.
Now, what about is that a pretty standard for your clients as well, or you guys have a separate program for your clients? Because I know, some people can give it their all and others can just only take so much.
The one set of failure thing is standards, like I say, but like whether that's technical failure or whether you can push beyond that.
Right.
Individual and situation dependent.
Right.
Or energy level dependent at time. We try to pick the best tool. We pick the tool that that person will progress on most efficiently and most safely. Someone squat. We've done not many barbell squats, to be fair. It takes too long.
Yeah.
Good time consuming to coach that, and we haven't got any power lifters, so they don't need to do it. Although it can be a beneficial exercise. There's obviously mega issues with barbell squat, or there can be. So we'll use either the Rogers squat, or the leg press, or some combination, some pre-exhaust combination maybe, depending on the joint, the knee health, the hip health, back health, etc. We will be getting, I don't know if you've seen it, a Wendler hip belt squat. So that'll give us a further option on that. And then there'll be, over the course of the workouts, whether they do 2 sessions a week or 1 a week or 3 weeks. Again, it's a thing that comes from Bob Whalen. During the course of that training week, there will be at least 2 upper body pushes, and there will be at least 2 upper body pulls. And if there's an upper body push in one plane of motion, there'll be an upper body pull in that same plane of motion to help where possible, maintain joint health, etc., and try and keep the balance, etc. So, in a nutshell, to answer your question, it's basic compound movements, and we'll add some frills. We'll add some frills on depending on the individual.
Okay. All right. Well, it's 10:15 your time now. Sorry, 10:15, man. That hour went by quick. So, tell the audience how they can reach you, how they can find you. I know you're in UK. Tell our audience what you're working on, how they can find you.
Yeah, well, through Facebook Messenger. My details are on there. We've got the Hitworks site, HIT, capitals, then works, lowercase. We've been told by some young guy who knows social media to push the Instagram thing more. So we've got an Instagram account, Hitworks Instagram account. Yeah, apparently that's the way to go. So message through either, and you'll find myself or Peter Collins, my brother. Our details are attached on there, and that's the easiest, most efficient way to do it. We just finalised up the gym. A little bit of housekeeping needs doing, a little bit of tidying up. We've finally agreed. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so you're going to be posting some videos on Facebook. You said about your workouts and all that stuff you do.
Yeah, we post quite regularly on our group site or our group page. There'll be stuff going on Instagram. The intense exercise page. We'll be putting stuff on there. And once we've got things a bit more formalised, there's a guy called.
All right, so you're going to be putting it on intense exercise. Good. I'll be watching you guys' video.
Thanks, man. And keep the podcast. I try to catch it where possible. I've missed a few, but I saw the Doug McGuff one. Also, I saw Ed's, which is great.
Yeah.
And I've managed to get a few others. Keep it going. It's great.
Yeah.
Great stuff. You need to get James Biddle on next.
What's his name?
James Biddle, United Exercise.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. We'll do that. I'll get a hold of him. All right, Brian.
That's a good guy.
Thank you for your time. Hopefully we get to meet one day when I'm on that side of the ocean, river, whatever lake you guys want to call it.
Wrap up warm.
All right. Take it easy, Brian. Thank you. I'll be looking for your video.
Thank you, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.